piece of stale bread from yesterday's sparse meal.
Okay, let's see.
I don't have a lock, so this is the only way to get some privacy. Abbott, of course, doesn't approve.
No, of course he doesn't.
This broom is the only thing that lies between me and doing my work. I should eat something first.
Oh, hello. This is actually a secret. This you forget it about it actually. But hey, nice that you are back. So I guess you want to know more about the engine and how to do stuff, and I guess you don't mind if we make this a big one. So yeah, let's just start or something. The last time we left off, we made our character with the walking animations and all the good stuff. But now we actually do need a scene so the character can walk in. So let's create a scene. In my case, I create a living room. Of course, you may or may not create something completely different. So, graphics. Anything you have to keep in mind is that you have your main directory, which is tutorial in this case, and this is basically your project folder. Everything you use in the game needs to be in that project folder. If it isn't in the project folder, I think Visionaire doesn't even import it, so you have to keep that in mind. So anyway, let's look for the living room, and let's take this one. It does look a little bit empty, but we may or may not change that. So we got our background image, and what we're doing now is basically we are making a way system. We click way system, click on plus, and a way system is basically two things: way borders and waypoints. Obviously we're gonna rename it again, normal, which I name the way system normal if it is the way system in the normal state. I can have different states, more on that later. Usually you only need one though, but yeah, we will cover that later, or maybe not, who knows. Okay, we create a way border, and we are doing that simply by clicking where the border should be. Actually, let's put in a thingy right here. More on that later. Okay, we got our way system. The waypoints, I'm not going to create waypoints just yet because I want to explain what they do, but for that I need to be able to start the game, and so far we can't do that because we haven't done the other stuff that is needed to start the game yet. But we can save the game, the project, which we should do often. Okay, the next thing we need is an inventory or an interface. Actually, we need two interfaces, one being the inventory and the other one being the thing that controls the character. So let's do an inventory first. The background image being graphics interface. So the graphic being something that looks like an inventory. In this case, it's a banknote thing. And you notice there are 5 placeholders for objects. We need to basically define them at placeholders for objects. We do that really easily by creating 5 buttons and then draw a line around them with this nifty tool up here. And we basically do that for every button. Actually, you don't have to be that exact, but meh. Did I miss one? Oh, I totally did. Right. Okay, let's rename them quickly. Item 01. And because I'm lazy, I'm going to cut and paste that. Item 02, item 03, item 04, and item 05. Want to keep things nice and clean. And then we have two errors, one left and one right. And this is basically so we can scroll through the inventory. If we have at one point that many objects, you never know. Well, obviously you should know because obviously you planned and did your homework, but yeah, you never know. And we need to tell the engine that those are buttons that scroll forwards and backwards, and we do that down here. Basically it tells you scroll items up or backwards, which is the left button. Left, whoops, that was a typo, left. And this is the right button, it scrolls forward and right. All the other items are marked as placeholder for items by default. Okay, that looks nice, but we do need to call the properties and say that it is an actual inventory. Okay, let's save that again. The next thing will be a cursor, because we actually do need to tell how the cursor looks like. This is rather easy. We just describe what it is, cross. And you might notice this particular screen right here because it's basically the same as in the character animation. You can load in animations, which we are going to do. The retro cursor, of course. This is the active cursor, which is the cursor that is being shown if you select an item or an object or something on the screen. This will show, whoa, a little bit fast. That's 360. Let's make it a little bit slower. Yeah, that works. For some reason there are two white frames in here. I'm just gonna delete one. I can do that, it's fine. Okay, that looks nice. And we need an inactive cursor, which is how the cursor will look throughout the game if it's not on an object or an item. This can be an animation as well, but I'm just gonna use one frame for that. Where is it? Cursor. Retro, and I need the white one. And just with the walking animation and the standing animation, you need to set the animation center for that, which should be in the middle for this one. If you have a finger, obviously you put the animation center on the tip of the finger or something. But in this case, it is the middle, and it should be the same for the two. Let's compare those. Fair enough. Let's save it. One of the last things we need to do is adding a font. Simple font. Fonts are imported via images, actually. Again, PNG images. Tutorials. Fonts. Let's take a white font. And those are, I think, the basic Visionaire fonts. You can download them on the site as well. And if you go to font and click this simple display letter areas, you can see how the letters are basically captured or selected in the screen. Okay, let's save that. One thing you have to keep in mind though, you see the alphabet right here. The letters must appear in the same order from top left to bottom right. So basically what you have to do is you have to type the exclamation mark as first and so on. You have to do this by hand, but yeah. Okay, that was that. As you can see, the alphabet is now exactly as in the image above, which is what we want to have. And oh, I forgot the second interface actually. We need to do a second interface, which in this case is called mouse. For my adventure, it only needs one button, which is called action. And what I'm ending up here is a simple adventure control scheme, which is basically the left mouse button does everything from talk to use to take, and the right mouse button is look at. This, of course, is a command button type command button. And under properties, we can say that the standard command from the interface mouse is action. And it is the main interface, so we're gonna save that as well. Another thing we have to do is in the command properties, we have to set a cursor, which we did in the beginning. The cursor is called cross, and if you want to have items dragged out of the inventory, then you need to check this, but I will cover that in a later tutorial as well, so we're gonna save that. So I think I covered everything right now. So right now it would be time to merge everything together. Very important is the first scene, which is the living room. Basically what you're setting up here is the starting condition. Resolution, I know that my screen has 800 times 600. The default language, we don't have any yet, so it's unnamed. At begin start following action, we don't have an action yet. The active standard command is always. Company name, game name, we don't have that yet. The active character is of course the main guy. The font is our simple font, and I guess that's, oh, the object font is a simple font as well. Let's save that. The mouse properties, we can leave them for now. We might change that later on. And the character, on the properties, we can set up the whole font business, and we're gonna set the cursor for the dialog selection to cross as well, and the comment set, we haven't done any comment set yet. What this is basically the font is the normal talking font, in which font the character is talking. The dialogue section is if you select a certain sentence in the dialogue, if it's active, basically, it uses that font. If you don't select a certain sentence, it is that font. And the cursor, which is used in the dialogue section, is cross. We will see that later in the dialogue section or something if I cover that, but it's pretty obvious what it means, and you can always experiment around, which I recommend actually. And what we also need to define is where the character stands at during the start of the game. We haven't done any positions yet in the scene, so we're gonna set up one right now. We're just gonna call it start, and if I click this little fellow here, I can put a cross, a marker basically wherever I want to put it. And it's a smart decision to put it inside of the borders, obviously. Click OK. You can't see that, but I'm clicking there. And if you need or want, you can set the direction of where the character is looking at the beginning, but usually it's not a big deal. We're gonna save that, and we're gonna start. Oh, important information before you start a game: if you made a change, and in order to see the change, you actually have to save the game, the project file. So yeah, keep that in mind. As you can see now, you don't see a cursor and you don't see a character. That is simply because I forgot to actually tell that the character stands at the living room starting point. So I save again. And if I run the game, I should actually see the guy. That's nice, but I don't see the cursor. That is because we haven't told the engine yet that the inventory and the cursor needs to be used for that certain person, character, whatever. So we go to main guy and interfaces, and you just check inventory and mouse. And you're gonna save again. And if you run the game now, you see both the cursor and the inventory. You notice there's some weird scrolling issue going on. And also, you notice that I put a gap in here. If I click on the other side, the character doesn't move there. You actually have to go around, and move down. Those are two issues we're gonna fix right now. So let's take a look at the way system. Those are the waypoints, basically. The waypoints tell the engine where to go to get around something. That was one too many. So we basically put this simple shape into the borders, which are the waypoints. And if we save that and run the game now, you can see if I click on the other side, he walks there just fine. Now we have the scrolling issue going on. And this is because basically the engine thinks that you want to see that certain part of the room even though it is beneath the inventory. And because of that, it scrolls up and down. So we need to tell the engine that the inventory can overlap the screen and it doesn't matter what's beneath. And how we do that is we go to properties and we go to displacement, which is basically the information on how the inventory is shown on the screen. And we go to absolute, and offset right now is 0, 0. If we save the game and look what that means, it basically means it is now at the top. We want it at the bottom though. I know that this graphic is 150 pixel big, and I know that my resolution is 800 times 600. So I just need to do simple math here. 600 minus 150, that's 450. So I can leave the x on 0, but the y is going to be 450. And if I run the game now, the inventory is displaced nicely and we don't have a scrolling issue. What kind of issue we do have now though is if I start the game, you can see that he stands beneath the inventory. And while that wouldn't be a problem, it might cause some weird glitches or stuff like that. I mean, obviously you can't walk beneath the inventory because that's marked as an interface. But we want to make sure that this is foolproof. So we're going to adjust the way system right now. And again, I click the point, and up here you can see the coordinates of your cursor. So I know it starts at 450, so let's go slightly above. Like this. I mean, you can be really perfect about it, but right now I'm just guessing around and doing it like I feel. The waypoints need to be adjusted as well. And if we save and run the game, we notice nothing changed. And in fact, we actually have a bug now. We walk on the walls. That looks nice, but it's not what we want. And what happened is we basically start at this point right here. And the point is basically outside of the borders, which basically means the engine thinks that you shouldn't be able to walk inside of here and just lets you walk outside. So what we have to do is basically put that marker back into the borders and not on the outside. Click OK. I'm gonna save the game again so I can run it. And everything's good. No more walking on the wall, and I can walk around. There are two other things now. First of all, the character is kind of big for the scene or for the doors. And second of all, I have really weird bugs going on when I want to go to that door. It doesn't work. And third of all, he moves kind of fast. So those are the next three things we're going to fix, basically. The first one is rather easy. We're going to the outfits and going to normal, and we can basically set a walking speed for every outfit. I'm just guessing here, but I think 150 would be enough, so it looks good. Maybe 200. Doesn't want to be, I don't want him to be too slow. That works. The next thing is we have to fix some of the waypoints, so the engine gets the idea that I might want to walk to that door. So we go to the scene, living room, way system, waypoints. Right now we have this simple shape, but what I'm going to do now is basically selecting this point, and I'm creating something like an intersection here. So the engine knows that from this point I can go up and right as well. And the same on this side. And actually, while I'm at it, that doesn't look too bad. So I can save that and run the game again. And now I can walk to the door, which is a nice thing. And you can actually see how the engine is doing, how the engine is actually using the waypoints, sometimes at least. You can see walking downwards, walking right, walking left, which is exactly how the waypoints are laid out. The last thing I want to fix is basically the scale of the character. He looks about kind of right here, but when he's back there, he doesn't look that. Yeah, he's kind of too big for that door, and he would need to bend down or do some weird limbo dance to enter that door, and this would need to be animated. And let's just scale him. And the way to do that is in the waypoint system as well. You can basically tell him that he is about 100% here. This is the character size, and this is basically percentage, what you're seeing here. And I would have to guess what he needs to be here, but luckily we can preview it. Okay. Let's try 65. No, that's too small. Let's try 86. Maybe 80. Yeah, that works nice. But now we have the problem. We have a problem right now. I mean, we got 2 points, and basically what we are telling is that everything on this line of on this horizon basically is 80% tall character-wise, and everything on this line, oops, I created a new one, and everything on that line, on that horizon, is 100%. If he goes behind that line, he gets bigger, and if he goes behind that point, he gets smaller. So we have to keep that in mind and basically plan the waypoints and the scaling system in a way that the scaling happens at the outmost possible place right before the border. Otherwise we have this weird thing going on. I mean, it looks realistic, but it's not really controlled. And how we can fix it in that direction is basically we go to the other point here and tell that it should be 100% as well. And what it basically does is it stays the same for the rest of the way, which is what we want to have. So let's save it and let's see it in action. He scales down just nice, that works. On the door he looks big enough. And he looks fine there as well. That looks nice. I think we're done here actually. Whoa, that wasn't too bad actually. I'm proud of you. You can tap your shoulders. So, what have we learned? Time to reflect a little bit. We have learned how to basically set up a basic scene with a walking path and with the way system, with all the way borders and stuff like that. We have learned how to integrate the character into the scene via the preview and how to scale it correctly. We also have learned how to do inventories. We haven't seen it in action yet, but that'll come, I promise. We have learned how to set up a basic mouse thing. Let me just do a quick action here. Just as a quick example, you can do a test action. For example, I can create an area right here. I can tell that if you click this area, the character should walk right here and should be facing to the wait, I don't have yeah, let's let him face upwards and let's put him in here. And basically I can create an action. When command is executed, which is action, my left click, at destination, that's correct, I can display text by character, current character, or if you want to make sure, you can select the main guy, and you can let him say, hey, that is a neat action, dude. Which is totally in character. And if you run the game now, and you go with your cursor over the object, you can see the animation right there, and if you click on it, he walks there and he will say, hey, that's a neat action, dude. Of course you can kind of adjust the font right there, so let me go the extra mile. So maybe 10, and yeah, let's save and run the game. And let's check out. Okay, the spacing is good. Now we have to get the words apart a little bit more. Maybe less. 7 was fine, I think, and let's go to 17. 7 and 17. Hey, that is a neat action, and that's actually a neat spacing right there. So yeah, this is basically how you can do a simple action. You can, as a homework, you can have fun with it, because next time I am actually talking a little bit more about actions and how to bring the room to life, so to speak, a little bit. So yeah. So yeah, again, my advice, if you want to read about the tutorials this video is based off, then you can go to this website and you can read about the tutorials, and you can basically see some kind of documentation of how Visionaire is working. So have fun and keep experimenting in the engine. Bye!